All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is doing fantastic. Going live, and I'm getting a bunch of texts as well. Again, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I appreciate everybody that is watching. I know Mateo is in the comments already. Thank you so much, and thank you for helping me monitoring the comments and all that. Some of you guys do that. I really appreciate it. But again, appreciate everybody that is here, everybody that is going to show up here, everybody that is going to watch this live. I've been doing a few live streams in the last couple days. I just haven't had the time to record. So I've been coming here, sitting down, talking to you guys straight live, comes out of my brain housing group through this mic straight to you guys and talking about some of the new things that are going on because in the next couple months it's going to be insane. It's really going to be insane because I'm going to tell you, this is not going to stop. You know, there is an election coming up, and believe it or not, like it or not, we got to make a vote count because I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't make a vote count, if you don't participate, you won't be part of any solution. You really won't. So what's going to happen is that if you don't participate, you know, laws could be put in place that you won't like it, and it's going to be too late. Don't let it affect you. Participate in the voting rights and or in the voting process. And the thing about it is that I always think about this, you know, we are so blessed that we are able to do that. You know, in some countries, we just don't have that. In some countries, we don't have the ability to vote. So having that is just an honor, in my opinion, right? You guys know that I was born in Cuba. And in Cuba, you at least when I was there, you don't vote. I mean, Fidel Castro is a tyrannical. It was a tyrannical government, and guess what he did? It disarmed the Cuban people. He took all their guns. Right? There is a common thing about this. You know, there's a common thing about guys that take your guns and then make you a slave and make you, you know, become tyrannical governments and then starve people to the point that they don't have a future and to the point that they can't eat and to the point that many of them, you know, like my family did, had to escape or, you know, leave the country in order to have a better future, right? So again, it is what it is. I want to get into this real quick. I appreciate everybody that is watching. Big shout out to everyone out there. Big shout out to Mattel. It's in the house. Fellow Marine, check it out, Mattel. Well, let me take your comment out of the way. Yeah. Little Marine shirt. TJ Jeff 84. What's up, buddy? I hope you're doing fantastic. And RIP Dona. Do you know who running tactics? I think I seen a couple videos or maybe something like that. I don't know much about then. Not much at all. Again, if you're new here to the channel, appreciate when you share the videos. It helps out a lot. I appreciate when you like the video, talk about the video. Appreciate when you put comments down in the comment section of the video. All that is fantastic. Many of you guys watch the channel and tell me I never put comments. Put comments, man. Write something in there. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like it, if you don't like it, if you agree or if you disagree or anything like that. It's always good to look through the comments and get to know some of you guys. Obviously, if you want to support the channel, you could become a patron. I appreciate that. You know, $1 a month or something like that. A lot of people do that, or 37 people donate to the channel, and those guys are fantastic. They help me produce videos, and usually I put links down there for Amazon. If you're gonna purchase anything in Amazon, click on my link, buy whatever you want, and the channel gets a kickback. And again, I appreciate that as well. Let's see who else is in the house. Let's see. AX, there we go. Trump 2020. Pastor Ciao is in the house. He said, hello, all. God bless, sir. Always fantastic to see you here, sir. I appreciate that. Andrew's in the house as well. Hope you're doing good, brother. So again, a lot of guys, check it out. I came across this, you know, website, and as you guys know, you know, it just happens to be right. The Democrats are big in gun control, and it's quite scary. We've been talking about it for quite some time. We've been, you know, talking about this issue about gun control, and we have to be careful because a lot of gun owners don't want to get involved. And a lot of gun owners said things like, well, I just like to shoot. I like to have a great time. Well, no doubt about that. I like to shoot and I like to have a great time with firearms, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I keep my gun. So we have to be able to be involved, because if we're not involved, your gun rights may go away, and you don't want to leave it to the last moment. I know gun owners that really don't participate in anything. And I'm like, bro, we're gonna lose our rights. You really need to be part of it, right? And again, I hate to be like pushy or tell you what to do. This is not my intent by no means, but if we want to do something for the Second Amendment, we got to go out there and preach a good message, right? It's the same thing for Christianity. So do you Christian boys out there, just Christian girls, we got to go out there and spread the message. We got to go out there and talk about Christ, right? We got to go out there and talk about guns in a positive way, right? I don't like 100%. I don't like when I see people in the internet saying, get a gun, it's your right, and yada, yada, yada. And they're really aggressive, and they scream at people, I'm going to have a gun because it's my right, and this and that. Well, obviously, you can have a gun because it's your right and all that stuff. Obviously, I agree with that. But if we want to change people's mind, and if we want to bring a positive message that the Second Amendment is not a bunch of crazy dudes that have guns because they want to do horrific things, maybe that's not the best approach to have. So I like to come and talk about the Second Amendment, but in a positive way. And I like to give examples, because when you educate yourself and you have facts, it's hard when you argue with facts, right? So educate yourself and spread a good message for the Second Amendment. It's by far one of the best things that we can do. And I'm going to tell you, I have talked to some people that I have explained what an AR-15 is, and people always like, oh wow, I thought it was this, or I thought it was that. Why? Because they're watching CNN, they're watching MSNBC, they're watching gun haters saying, bizarre things and saying things are just not true. We could quote here some of these politicians talking about things that you're like, that really doesn't work that way. That's not what it is. Like, I don't know what you're thinking, bro. I don't know what came to your brain, house, and group, but you don't pull the trigger and shoot a bazillion bullets. It doesn't work that way. But they paint a picture like that. And if we don't come here and educate people, people don't know. Some people don't know none of those things, right? So again, I want to show you the Joe Biden website. I wanted to talk about it, very quickly, or for a little while. First, let me say a big shout out to old Chicago. What's up, sir? I hope you're doing good. Great support of the channel. I appreciate your support here. Also, Nick is in the house. Big shout out to Nick. What's up, buddy? I hope you're doing fantastic. So here's the thing. I want to bring Mateo said 30 magazine clip in half a second. It's just bizarre. Some of the things that you hear. And again, some people have no idea at all. None. Like, they don't have any idea. They don't know how it's supposed to be. So this is why I come here and I constantly do videos like this, because I feel that it's important. And again, I have talked to some people that at the end of the conversation, they have been like, wow, it's just wow. Gun control is proven that does absolutely nothing. It doesn't do anything. And I'm going to bring the website very quickly here from Joe Biden. But at one point, he's talking about, if I bring it around here, at one point he's talking about he was a critical member, or a critical part of making implementing a process that it was supposed to prevent, mass shooting during the 2012. I got to find it real quick, but it's around here. And again, with the purpose of having a community that is safe, right? So right here it says, after the tragedy of Sandy Hook Elementary, which I'm going to tell you before I continue, I got so mad about this. Like, when I remember being in the car and hearing about this thing that happened in 2012, where a crazy guy, right? A crazy guy walked into a place after murdering his mom and taking her firearms that were secure in a place, right? So this crazy guy committing this horrific attack. I remember crying. I remember literally tear coming down my face because I was so angry that this happened. But again, it's things that happen because and I'm gonna say this, and I know sometimes people say things like, "Really, that's your answer?" But that is my answer. The devil come to steal and destroy. He hates you and he wants to destroy you. There is evil people out there. It has to be, because who in the right mind gets up in the morning and says, "Hey, I'm gonna get a rifle and kill a bunch of kids"? That's not something that a regular person does. You have to be sick in the head. You have to be sick in the head. It's demonic, it's satanic, and it has nothing to do with our regular human beings. It's comes straight from the devil. And again, he's talking about here, and I don't want to kind of jump out of myself or in front of myself, but he's talking about here everything that did. President Obama tasked Vice President Biden on developing legislation proposal and executive actions to make our community safe. Right? Okay. So in other words, the President Obama, told him, "Hey, we need to come out with laws after 2012, strict laws to protect that community." So strict laws were put in place. Now, think about from 2012 to now. There have been multiple more shootings because gun control does absolutely nothing. I'm going to tell you, a person that does this kind of attacks is going to do it. He's going to do it with a firearm. Is going to do it with a vehicle. Think about this. The guy that was in New York just, well, maybe a year, several months ago, that used a car and killed several people. I'm sure some of you guys remember that dirtbag. And in fact, after he was arrested and was put in there in the hospital, he had a flag of ISIS and he was flying the flag. Right, this video is going to be so demonetized. I mean, so many keywords that I've been saying that YouTube doesn't like. Right, so again, um, this guy was a dirtbag. This to me, he was enemy combatant. He wasn't even, I sometimes I think to myself, some of these people should not be given the rights. I mean, we are a great country because we're giving these people the right that many other countries won't give us. I mean, if you come here and commit a terrorist attack and you come here and commit an attack based on the fact that you are associated to a group that is our enemy, you should be treated like an enemy combatant, not as the way they were treated. But anyways, that's a totally different conversation. I'm not gonna get into that. But again, what did that guy did? That guy rented a car or truck, and that guy actually rented a truck before he committed the attack, and he took the truck and he did a trial run, like the dude did training on it, like the military does. You identify what you're going to do, you get the tools necessary to do it, and you go out there and do a practice run and then commit this attack. Right, so in the case of this stuff, when we're talking about this situation, when we're talking about acted shootings and things like that, we're talking about attacks. We're not talking about your basic crime that happened. These people are going to do this, and if they get a gun, is great. If not, they're going to get vehicles. This happened in Europe all the time, Spain, and countries like that. France, we all remember in France when the guy used I think it was a garbage truck or some kind of big truck and killed many people with a truck. Right, it happens because the devil comes to kill and destroy. So again, as we see this right here, and as we see what he's saying here, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you implemented yada yada yada. You implemented many different things. Obama administration took more than two dozen action, including narrowing the so-called gun show loophole, increasing the numbers of records in background check system, and expanding funding for mental health services. Oh, wow. You did so many great things. And then what happened? Nothing. You accomplished absolutely zero because we still have kids being killed at schools, right? So again, we prove here that gun control is not going to work because you apply gun control, or gun control only applies to law-abiding citizens. The only people that follow gun laws are gun-abiding citizens, law-abiding citizens, right? Criminals don't go. It's kind of hard for these people to get this, but criminals don't go like, whoa, I was about to commit a crime, but you know what? Buying a gun illegally obviously is illegally, so I'm not going to commit that crime, right? Criminals don't do that. Criminals are criminals. By definition, anything that you put in place is not going to be followed. But for whatever reason, this hypocrites, because they are hypocrites, they love to put restrictions that is going to stop you from getting a gun, but at the same time, they love to have security with guns, right? Remember, anything that they put in place is not for them. It doesn't affect them because they probably have prior military, prior police officer, prior Navy SEALs as security guards. So, it's easy when they come around, they put all the stupid rules, right? So, anyway, Richard's in the house. What's up, Richard? I hope you're doing fantastic. Israel Cruz is in the house, sir. How are you, sir? Hope you're doing fantastic. Fantastic. What's fantastic? Fantastic. There we go. I don't know. Something like that. So let me go back to this. So as you guys know, let's make it a little bit bigger. And also, let me go here. Let me get a little Coke Zero. This is my favorite thing. Not good, but here's the thing. I stopped drinking, I don't know, like 8 years plus ago when I got saved. And I don't smoke too. I started smoking too when I got saved. So the only thing that I got left over is Coke Zero, which is probably, or Diet Coke, which is probably not good. I said it many times. And every now, I like Monsters too. But again, I need to stop this because this is not good neither. So, but anyways, this is the Democratic Party right here. Biden and Kamala Harris. These people literally are hating. They hate guns. And they have a plan publicly, expressed and talked about taking your guns away. And we got to be really careful with this, common sense gun control. There's no common sense gun control here. Their plan is to take your guns. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know sometimes I don't like to get into this because some people say, well, you're spreading misinformation. I've been doing this for many, many years. And some of you guys in the comments here been doing this for many, many years. You guys let me know down in the comment section below. But we know that their plan is to take our guns because they say it all the time. They want to make it so difficult for you to buy a gun that at one point you're just going to give up. It's like if you're running 5 miles and you can't do it. At one point, you're going to have to walk it out, right? You're going to go strong. You're going to try to do it. You're going to run really hard. But when you hit that 2-mile run, you're going to be like, oh, that's it. I got to walk it out because it's too long, right? The same thing here. They're making it so difficult that essentially people are going to give up and not going to get guns, or people will not be able to afford some of these guns, right? Mom that just had $500 and was able to purchase a gun because she needs to protect herself. And next thing you know, she has to pay all this hundreds of dollars in fee to be able to carry her gun, even though she's a law-abiding citizen, right? Well, the criminal doesn't have to pay for nothing. A criminal doesn't pay for nothing. A criminal buys a gun illegally and attacks you, but you, law-abiding citizen, is going to have to go through all this dilemma. And I've been there. I've been in a situation where it has taken me extra money and has taken me so much because of regulations in place, and it have delayed me from buying guns because, all the stimulations that they have. So these two people are just horrific for the Second Amendment community, right? Kamala Harris, she said, and I quote, one second, if you could see me, put it in the comments. Let me know. Back. I think I'm back. Let me know if you see me in the comment section. The computer kind of blacked out for a second. Let me bring back to the way I was. There we go. You're gone. Back. Am I back? Let me know if I'm back. This is the thing when you do a live, guys. You can't. All right. Cruz says, I see you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate everybody out there. So, again, Kamala Harris, I mean, she said, if I'm elected, uh, president in the first 100 days, I'm going to take a second action. That's what she said, right? She said, I'm going to give the Congress 100 days. After that, I'm going to do something about it. Now, let's think about this. We know that she doesn't like guns. You know that she's against the Second Amendment, right? They tell you that they're not. They tell you that they support the Second Amendment, but they don't. They really don't. Because when you read the stuff that you're reading here, it literally, some of the regulations that they put in place is not common sense. I don't like that common sense phrase, but it's not common sense at all. It's straight up restriction that is going to stop you from getting a gun, right? And then you got Biden. That is again, he has spoken against guns. At one point, what did he say? All you need is a shotgun or something, whatever he said at that time. And let's face it, this guy is old, really old. And nothing wrong on being old, right? I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. Nothing wrong with being old. I don't know what's wrong with these people. If I'm 80 plus, all I want to do is spend time with my grandkids and enjoy my last days of life, right? Maybe go to church, sing a little bit to Jesus, have a great time, have dinner with my kids, and enjoy my family. And if I'm so rich, like some of these people are, man, it would be so great. I'll be buying toys for my kids or my grandkids and all that, enjoying my life. But for whatever reason, these people, I don't know if they like the drama or they like whatever they do, but I mean, come on, some of these people need to retire. So he's really old. He's really old, and I kind of feel that, and you see them, you see him talking, and you see them, the way he speak and things like that. I don't know how much in charge he's going to be. If he becomes the president of the United States, I mean, I would be willing to say that. What? Maybe she will be the one making the calls, because I really don't know, based on his speaking, based on me seeing him on TV and all that stuff. I really don't know if he's going to be in charge. It doesn't give me that feeling, right? And I'm trying to be not biased at all, but when I see him, I don't feel confident that he will be the man for the job. I really don't feel that, right? Let's see. So again, it's just insane. But let me look at this real quick. I want to bring a couple things to you guys. If you want to donate, you could donate. Totally kidding about that. You could donate to the channel, but not to this. So again, they give you the little spiel here, and a couple of little things I want to point out. Joe Biden has taken on the National Rifle Association. This is the first thing I'm going to tell you about this. I know that some of the guys here in the comments, and let me give a big shout out to Gary. Big shout out to Gary, sir. Always great to see you here. Nick says, let's see. And thank you, Nick. I appreciate that, sir. But here's the thing I wanted to mention. This NRA thing. I know that in the gun community, we argue over this, and we argue about the NRA. And I know for a fact that the NRA, I've been around here for quite some time. Some of the things I have done have not been in the best interest for the Second Amendment. No, I mean, they straight out compromise in the bump stock dilemma that we have. If you haven't been around for quite some time in guns, or if you have, you remember that. But what I've been saying here for many, probably years by now, I don't know, months or whatever, is that when they say Joe Biden has taken on the National Rifle Association, what he really means is that he's really means you and me. He means the American gun owner. That's what he means. Because when he says this, National Rifle Association, I'm going to tell you right now, prove me or check this out. Ask people about Gun Owners of America or the Second Amendment Foundation. Some people don't know about that. People typically know the NRA. So when they say the NRA, what they're trying to tell and kind of follow with what I'm trying to say, but what they're trying to put out there to the regular people, the guys that don't like guns or maybe hate on guns, is that they're going to take on law-abiding citizens. That's what they're going for, because the regular guy doesn't know the difference between all these groups. So when they say, "Oh, we're taking the NRA," what they're really saying is like, "Oh, we're going to go after all those Americans that own guns." That's what he's saying, right? So again, that's the first thing that it comes into here. I can't remember if I actually put this in the description box or not, but if you go to Google and you type Joe Biden gun control, this is going to come out. It's not so difficult to find, right? So again, first of all, we're going to hold, or they're going to hold manufacturers accountable. I don't get that. I really don't get that. How are you going to hold manufacture companies accountable for it? And I think this is something that has been brought up for probably years by now. They want to make companies responsible for it. It doesn't seem fair to me, right? Like, you don't hold, I don't know, GM or like Chevy accountable if somebody gets drunk and kill somebody and they're drinking and driving. You don't do that. You don't go like, well, Chevy or Ford, this guy was drinking and driving and he killed somebody, so owe them so much money. They don't do that. They really don't do that. They don't go like, well, Sugar or Splenda, you gave diabetes to somebody. Or they don't go like, I don't think they say something like, well, Coronas, you made this guy drink so much that he had a DWI, so now he killed somebody and you owe the family money. They don't do that. All those things are just tools or things that they eat or drink for enjoyment. They should not be responsible at all. When you buy a gun, you are supposed to be a responsible gun owner. And check it out. The state is kind of certifying that, because when the state tells you, hey, you got to get a permit, they're kind of saying that you met all the requirements to buy a gun in many cases, right? Obviously, in some other places, you can, private sales and things like that. But again, they don't do that. 308 made a good point here. He says, you can't blame Apple if you text and drive. Yeah, it doesn't. It just doesn't even make sense. The common sense saying is dumb. Yeah. Oh my. Yes. Yes. Uh. Yeah. It's insane. Is really really insane when it comes to this, right? So I really don't. Wow, what they're trying to do here is that they're trying to get companies out of business, and that's primarily what they're doing. Because if you're holding a small company, now we got companies like Remington, Smith and Wesson, Glocks. Obviously those are big companies, but there's other companies out there that are American made, that own, or have veterans working, that have Americans working there, right? So they have, people being employed, and they're smaller company. So some of these companies could literally go out of business if they get sued, right? It's just insane. Let me bring another one up here, right? Let's see. Here's the thing. I want to point this one out. Do I got the screen on? Yep, I got it right here. All right. Ban manufacturers and sales of assault weapons and high capacity magazines, right? The term assault weapons, that's one of those terms that people are going to ask you about it. People really going to ask you about it. And again, we all know how we feel about this. Assault weapon, all these terms, but as far as I know, an assault weapon is a fully automatic weapon. That's as far as I know. There's probably other different characteristics out there and a bunch of other stuff. But that's primarily, when they say military weapons, the AR-15 is a semi-automatic weapon. You pull a trigger, one round goes off. Same concept with a pistol, right? You put a trigger, a round goes off. Pretty much the same concept with a revolver. You pull a trigger and the round goes off, and then the cylinder rotates and you got another round to shoot, right? So if you look at a military weapon, when they say comments like that, well, military weapons out of the street, military weapons have birds rounds, or burst fire. So essentially, you pull the trigger and you got 3 rounds coming your way, right? And some of the other military weapons are completely fully automatic. So the AR-15 is not a military weapon. I went to combat several times, 3 times, 2 tours in Iraq, one in Afghanistan, right? 12 months in Afghanistan. Actually, should be considered 2 tours according to Marine standards, but they only say 1 tour. And I spent 6 months in a ship as well. I had a 203 and an M4 with a 203. Awesome gun, right? The only difference with the M4 with the 203 is a grenade launcher, is that it feels kind of unbalanced a couple times. But I was just being picky. But again, that was not the same gun as my AR-15s that I have here. Not my same gun. But again, it's a propaganda, because if they say military weapons, I mean, who wants military weapons in the street, right? It's just a propaganda that they're using, right? So again, banning this assault weapon, high capacity magazine. I think Mateo told me about this. What are we doing with high capacity magazine? How are we protecting our children? The guy here in Florida, the guy who actually shot a bunch of kids, I think it was 17, 16 kids, and 16 kids and an adult. Let's see. All right, Richard. Hope you doing good, bro. Uh, but again, Mattel told me about this. He said the guy that killed all those kids, he was using a 10-round magazine. It wasn't a high capacity magazine, which, by the way, let's get this out of the way. An AR-15 doesn't have a high capacity magazine. The 30-round magazine is a standard capacity. That's just standard capacity. It comes with a 10-round, with a 30-round magazine. But again, let's pretend that in the perfect place, we restrict that. The guy used a 10-round magazine to kill all those kids. So again, restricting the magazine is not going to protect our children. Really not. It's just, it's not a protection. We ain't protecting our kids. So again, very very stupid. Things like this, like regulating. Do I got this open? Yeah, regulating possession of assisting assault weapons on the national firearms. I'm not an expert on all this, but I'm pretty sure that automatic weapons are highly regulated. You cannot go, and then this is what I'm saying. Some of these gun laws, as we go through this, you would think that this is not in place. You can't buy a short rifle or SVR unless you go through the $200 tax stamp that you had to buy, unless you do the whole paperwork, and it is a nightmare, right? And I'm pretty sure automatic weapons follow in that type of category as well. It's insane in the amount of paperwork you got to do. And here's the thing: gun control. The American people cannot by no means afford these guns, right? Some of these automatic weapons, we're talking about thousands upon thousands upon thousands. We're talking about several thousands of dollars for an automatic weapon. So the basic guy cannot afford this, right? So it's interesting when they say things like this, because when you see regulate the possession of assisting assault weapons under the National Firearm Act, oh, I don't know. Maybe Mateo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's already regulated under that. I could be wrong, but I know like silencers. Let's see, National Firearm Act require individuals possessing machine guns, silencers, on short barrel rifles to go under a background check and registering the weapons with the ATF. I'm pretty sure we do this already. We this is something that is due. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we do this already. So again, at a bare minimum, silencers and short barrel rifles go through this process already. So they put this thing right here. The basic guy reads this. This is what we talk about propaganda. And you read this, it's like, oh yeah, some people may say, well, yeah, nobody should have these guns, and thinking that it's not a regulation. Well, we do this already. They charge people $200 in taxes to do this. It's insane. Here we think. Buyback. Let me bring this up a little bit bigger. Remember, guys, this is the Democrats that are running to become president and vice president of the United States. This is the real deal right here, right? It says, buy back, you lost me. Right there. Buy back, you lost me. I got guns that I could sell you back. I'm gonna tell you right now. I got guns for sales. If you want to buy one of my AR-15, I sell it to you. I'm sure I could get a quarter of $1 million. 200,000. I mean, I got one for sales. We all do. I could sell you. We could got some guns that we could uh spare, right? So again, we could do that, but it's gonna cost you more than the little, couple $100. I sell you an AR-15 for $200,000, right? But again, the term here, buyback, is really unconstitutional because what they're saying here is that buyback and you are forcibly uh, um, in need to sell it back. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say because they're gonna say if you don't sell it back, and this has happened already, by this day you will become a felon. So now you have property that you bought, a tool that you bought for you in a free country. Supposedly, we have a Second Amendment right where it says every American has the right to bear arms, and you're forcing me to sell you my property. So to me, it's just insane. I just don't, don't like that at all, right? So again, here we go. Assault weapons. Again, we're going into this term assault weapon when we know that an AR-15 is not an assault weapon, right? An AR-15 is a sporting rifle, and again, they want to classify it as something else. And this is the thing about it that you got to see on gun control because they classify these guns on whatever they want. So when they reclassify the guns, could literally make you a felon because you don't want to sell your property. So all they need is to reclassify a tool, and next thing you know, you're in possession of this, highly destructive device. So again, high capacity magazine as well. They want to buy that, which is, insane, right? Here's a big one, guys. Reduce stockpiling of weapon. In order to reduce stockpiling of firearms, Biden support legislation restricting to the number of firearms that an individual may purchase for months. I mean, this is not new. Guys, none of this stuff is new. None of that. If you could come here in the comments, bunch of guys in the comments. If you see anything like this or any of this information right here, it's not new. This has been around for quite some time. So again, I don't know what to tell you. We're supposed to live in a free country where we can make our own decisions. And last time I checked, if I want to buy a gun, I should be able to buy a gun because I pay a ton of taxes and I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't do anything bad. I get up in the morning to go to work. I go to sleep. I work again. Good member of my society. And I don't understand why you're putting restrictions on me, right? So it's crazy, right? Here's the thing, keep guns out of dangerous hand. The National Instant Criminal Background System. Again, that makes this thing like this doesn't happen. We already do background checks unless it's a private sale. In many places, a background check is always conducted. At least FFLs are required to do that, right? Excuse me. So again, now the thing about this is that they want to make it where it's a background check and everything. First of all, let me just say something. Background checks absolutely does nothing, completely nothing. People that are gonna, commit horrific attacks, do a background check, pass the background check, and then they murder people. The guy in Vegas, what did he had? He had a ticket. A ticket, I think, was the only thing. He was rich, living in Vegas. I mean, guys, that's insane, right? This dude has a ton of money, as far as I know, living in Vegas, never had any issues with anybody, and he bought all the guns legally. He followed the law. That's why I say gun laws don't work, because he actually followed them and committed an attack. The same thing happened in I think it was California, where the guy, they committed a terrorist attack, and he did the same thing. Him and his wife, I believe, many years ago. They waited 10 days. You want me to wait 10 days? I'll wait 10 days. It's okay. So they waited 10 days. They committed that attack, right? So this background check and all that absolutely does absolutely nothing. This is absolutely nothing. So when they say all gun sales, well, that means that if I want to sell a gun to my friend, now I have to pay a person money. Well, what about if I know this guy? I serve in the Marines with him. What about if it's a family member? You right? A person that I love and I want to give a gun to them. Why would I have to do a background check? I know the person. Why am I required to do this? And is it going to make a difference? No, it's not. Right? The guy in Texas that killed 20 something people, what did he did? He bought a gun. He went to a place, bought an AR-15, and guess what? He passed the background check. Comes to find out that he actually served time in the military, and guess what? The database was not updated. So he was able to go there, apply, and got a gun. He lied on his paperwork. Oh, guess what? Lying is a crime. So criminals don't follow the law, right? So again, requiring all background check is really not doing anything. It's really not protecting our citizens. It's really not protecting anybody else. Here, another one: close loopholes in the federal background check system. Addition to closing the boyfriend loops, right? So, as far as I understand, this is when somebody goes and buy a gun and give it to your boyfriend, or I buy a gun and I give it to somebody, not as a gift. It's not that I'm gifting the gun, is that I'm actually, a person is actually buying the gun for that person, right? So you want to buy a gun for whoever because you know that that person is not allowed for whatever reason, and you're gonna buy it for that person, right? That's illegal. It's already illegal. You're not supposed to do that, right? When you fill the paperwork, there's some stuff in there that talks about that, right? I don't remember exactly where, but that's already illegal. So again, you're reading this and you want to think to yourself, this is already in place. But if you don't know that and you're reading this information, you'll be like, wow, I really can't believe. Let's think about this. If you don't know anything about gun laws, you will be thinking already, like, wow, I really cannot even believe that we haven't done this. But in fact, all this have been done pretty much. So all these strategies, requirements, in some kind of way has been put in place already, and it hasn't worked yet, right? So let's see. Require. Let me come over here. Bring a couple other ones that I think they're just completely ridiculous, right? Okay, and the online sale of firearms and ammunition. This one is a ridiculous one because this is what they saying with this one, right? Essentially, what they're saying is that you could buy a gun and get shipped to your house, and you can just go online and buy guns. That's not true. Really not true. The guns are supposed to be sent to an FFL. You will go to the FFL and you will follow federal law. So yes, if you're buying a gun for somebody is going to send it to you or a company. Let's say if I go to Palmetto State, I bought a gun from Palmetto State. They're going to send the gun, or at least the lower, it's considered a gun when I bought the AR-10. And you go to the store, you do paperwork, and boom, done. That's what you do, right? So again, it's just very, very confusing when you talk about this kind of stuff because they make a saying where you could just buy a gun and send it to your house. Me and my wife, we have both several guns, right? And we've been married for so long that sometimes I think, did I bought this gun or you bought this gun, right? But again, when we purchase our firearms, it has been completely legally. All my guns are legally purchased, and I have done background checks, and I have done all that stuff. Permits, concealed carry permits. Go there, pay for a $5 background check, and do all that. So this, and again, even purchasing a gun online, it has sent to an FFL where once again we got to do a background check and do all that. So a regular person reading this may think that what, you could just buy a gun and it gets sent to your house, but it's really not true. It's really not true. Let's see. Mateo put a comment out here, says out of 10,000 plus NIS CS. Wow. Check investigation from denial. Only 100 follow up. Of that, only 10 are ever brought up for persecution. Wow. That's insane. That's insane. So again, even if they fail, they don't even have the resources to do anything, right? Um, Richard says, thanks for supporting South Carolina jobs industry. No doubt, man. Let's see else. I would never go to the VA hospital again, but I'd rather just die if I need be. Oh man, that kind of sucks. You should not feel that way. You should feel that the VA is a good place to go. But I know exactly what you're talking about because I dealt with the VA, and I know I got frustration from the VA. I don't like going to the VA neither. So again, all this stuff is insane, and it's crazy because to prohibit the online sale of firearm, ammunition, kits, and gun parts. All right, so gun parts. So you're telling me that I can't buy a spring? I can't buy a rail? I can't buy, I don't know, a trigger? That's not a firearm. So now we're regulating gun parts. Insane. Truly insane, right? Here's the thing right here. Extreme risk laws. This thing to me is something that I really got to be. It got to be very, very. It's just a difficult one because the thing about this one is that a lot of times we said things like, "Well, we want to be like, we want to protect people, right? We want to protect people, and if somebody is going cuckoo in the head, obviously we don't want that person to hurt people or hurt others, right? So, I mean, obviously, but that right there, it has to be really careful because it's used against you. So there is many reports and people complaining about this that if somebody doesn't like you, they could easily say, well, he has all these guns and he said this, and next thing you know, you have the SWAT team in your house taking everything you have, and next thing you know, you have to go to court, spend thousands of dollars, go through court for a year to get your firearms back because somebody made an accusation against you. So it's one of those things that, yeah, we want to make sure that crazy people are not out there doing crazy things. But at the same time, we have to be really careful with this one because we don't want to get, law abiding citizens that haven't made a crime, haven't committed a crime, haven't said anything wrong to get properly removed out of their houses because an accusation that is not proven or, is not true. So again, you got to be really careful because it's one of those that it's just pretty crazy. Big shout out to the Valentine Show. Just did an episode with him. I had a great time. Go and subscribe his channel right now. Click on the thing, subscribe, and go and watch it. We were talking about what should be your first firearm. Very, very beginning like, nothing crazy. If you're a salty dog that's been shooting for a while, you probably would have been like, that's not that good. But if you need information about guns and you just want to have a good time, go and watch the show. It was pretty awesome. So big shout out to you, sir. I appreciate the invite. Let's see what else. The Democrats are pushing because they are out of control on this. Let's see. Give states incentives to set up gun licensing programs. I don't like gun licensing programs. I really don't because I feel that it's just another way to take your money. The government is out of control. There are literally so many regulations that at one point they I'm gonna compare them to the Sopranos. Like, oh yeah, you live in a free country, but if you want to do this, I need you to give me a little bit of money. They're out of control. How many licenses are you going to have, man? I can't even go fishing because I got to get a license. You got to get a license to drive a car. Okay, got it. I get it. I get it. But fishing? Really? 2? Hunting? 2? Guns? 2? Anything's a license. I'm required to have a license to the job that I have. I had to be in the job training for a year. And then I had to take a super difficult test. Bless the good Lord, I passed that test. I scored 78. All I needed was a 70. and now I have a license for my job, which was great, make decent money. But again, everything is a license. We got to relax with these licenses because every year you have to pay money. Like right now, I'm coming up to my renewal of my license, and now I got to pay a ton of money. Not a ton, just a little bit. Hopefully, the place that I work for reimburse me for it. But everything is a license, man. Everything is a license, and it's just crazy. I'm sick of licenses. And again, license is just another way to gun control because I'm going to tell you what, I can afford to pay for a license. I can, bless the Lord. I'm okay right now, right? But there are some people that don't have that. Some people cannot afford it. But here it is, now you can carry your gun. You're a law-abiding citizen, that you pass a background check. You got a gun. You can't carry your gun because now you got to go through another amount of paperwork. And the thing is, like, it's not only the license, it's the training and it's the time off from work. So it's not only, oh, well, it's only $130. No, man, it's not $130. It's a day off from work. Now, if I make $150 a month, now I'm at $280. Right? So again, it's not just the license, right? And then every so many years I got to do it. So again, and the thing about it is that once again, many states have licenses. Many. This is very common. It's less common the states that, constitutional carry, which means you don't have to have a license. You still got to be a law-abiding citizen. You can be a felon and have a gun. So again, many states have this, so I don't even know why this is there because this is something that a large percentage of our people have it. Addressing deadly combination of guns and domestic violence. Once again, another lie. You can't have domestic violence and buy a gun. Says it in the paperwork. So this is done already. So again, if you're reading this, you're thinking, wow, yeah, I can't believe we allow people with domestic violence to buy guns. No, we can. If you're being charged for that, you're not supposed to buy a gun. Now, if you lie, you may be able to pass because once, a background check sucks, like Mateo was mentioning, so they don't do nothing about it. And two, people lie in the paperwork. There is a crime if you lie. So we have a law for everything, right? All right, listen to this. Establishing a new task force on online harassment and abuse, to concentrate on mass shooting, online harassment, extremist violence against women. Oh, against women. I guess us guys, we don't rate. We don't go through anything crazy, right? So again, that's already in place. Let me tell you something. Who remembers how many times the police was notified about that kid that shot the school in Florida? I believe the FBI was notified multiple times. And I don't remember the number. Somebody remember the number, put it in the comment section so I could say it. But I believe it was in the 30s or 40s. It was insane. I mean, even people were calling the cops and saying, this kid is about to do this. And what did the cops did? Nothing. So there is a system, the FBI was notified about this kid making threats online about to commit this attack. The local sheriff's department was notified about this. And what did they did? Nothing. The kid went to the school and committed a horrific attack. Actually, it was horrific because the cops stood outside while kids were being murdered. So again, Mateo says more than 20 times. I mean, it was insane. So this is already in place, right? We already have people notifying people to that this is about to happen. And again, it was one of those things that didn't work. And once again, I show you so many examples of things that just don't work. This thing doesn't work, right? So the only thing that will work to protect our children is to have armed people there. We have to face evil. We have to face it. The good King David says, Lord, prepare my hands for combat. We have to face evil because there's evil in this place and we have to face it. And it is what it is. What did the guy say in the shooting in Texas? Oh man, what was his name? Mr. Wilcott, I think it was. The plumber. He was sleeping with no shoes, when his daughter woke him up and says, you know, the church is being shot at. Man, that was so powerful. And he walked outside with that AR-15 and he faced evil. And I believe he says something like, you gotta see the interview. Look up the interview. Because he says, I was so scared. But I pray that my good Lord, it was good. It was good. Sometimes we gotta face evil. So having a security plan. I see all these kids giving advice. I don't need advice from children. Children don't know anything. Be children. Right? Oh, you being mean against kids. No, I'm not being mean. What I'm saying is that I'm going to take security from security experts, right? Guys that have been doing this. And we need armed personnel in the schools, but now we're taking cops out of the schools because, cops are in the business of just killing people, right? Apparently, that's what they're saying. Horrific. Horrific. The propaganda that these Democrats have brought into our country is quite frankly disgusting. Disgusting, right? So let's see. Make sure firearm owners take responsibility for ensuring the weapons are used safely. That's already in place. This is already in place. If you go outside and you use your gun unsafe and you shoot somebody, you're gonna go to jail. If you do something stupid with your gun, you're going to go to jail. By the way, in many states, you have to sign paperwork saying that your children will be protected from your guns. And it is a crime to leave a gun unattended in front of a kid. It's already in place. You see, everything we talk about here is things that many of these things are not reasonable, but all these things are already in place. And what's happening? Nothing. It's not stopping anybody from committing attacks, right? Chicago is going out of control. Out of control. Every weekend is like the highest of the highest. Every weekend they set up a new record, right? And all these things are already in place. It's insane. Let's see. Hold adults accountable for giving minors access to firearms. That's already in place. That's all right. I remember in North Carolina, you had to sign some paper saying that your guns will be protected, right? And again, it's something that is already in place. But if the regular guy is watching this or reading this, it will say, well, that makes sense. Why is that not in place? That is already in place. So you're not putting anything that is not in place, right? Require gun owners to safely store the weapons. That's already in place. Empower law enforcement to effectively enforce gun laws. Well, I hope they do that before they defund them, right? I mean, it's crazy, I'm just really, really, as I look at some of this thing, I'm just getting tired of reading this. I'm coming up to my hour mark. If you guys got any comments, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I definitely appreciate the support, but I just wanted to give you an update of what's coming up. This is what's coming. This is what's coming if you don't get involved. Put some comments down there. I'm going to try to answer a couple comments and things like that, but this is what's coming if we don't get involved. This is coming. And again, selling this thing, like some of those things is not in place already. This things is in place. I'm not saying I don't agree with these things. I don't agree with these things. But just to show you how some of this, what they call common sense gun laws, are already in place, and it hasn't protected our community at all. There's still crime. There's still crazy stuff going on. It has not protected communities at all. And it's already in place. But they put it in the website like there's not in place, and it's straight up lying to the American people. It's pretty sad. Very, very sad. John said, why do these people think we are stupid? No, the thing about this is that the basic person doesn't really look through anything. People are going like this, and they're going through the phones, right? And at one point, they are saying, oh, look at this. And they don't take the time to do any research. It's just emotion. They're playing with our emotions, Oh, kids are getting killed. We need to do this. And people tend to agree without doing any research. And when you start doing some research, you start getting educated. And you start saying, wait a minute, this thing is in place and it's not working. So if it's not working, that means that we have to do something else. But people don't take the time to actually do that. Let's see. Hmm. And I got a lot of things to say when it comes down to like the schools and what's happening in the schools and things like that. Um, but I do feel that some of the kids that are being bullied, obviously, there's never an excuse to come to the school and do anything horrific to the school, obviously. But I'm gonna tell you, just from in the past, some stuff that have happened to my kid in school, I feel that a lot of these teachers are just simply not really paying too much attention to the kids, right? It's just like numbers. They just, doing whatever. I don't know what they're doing. But my kid, I know some of you guys been following me for a while, got tripped in school, got 5 stitches or 3 stitches to his face. And you won't believe the issues that I have trying to get some answers. Like they were ignoring me. I made it. I'm gonna tell you, I made it to the highest level. I live in Flagler County, school board director, yada yada yada. And I'm thinking to myself, man, why am I talking to you? All I wanted to do is talk. It's not like I called and was like, oh, I went to the school and was like, I want to talk to the principal. I just went there. I wanted to get some answers from anybody. You could have been the secretary in the front office and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. But no one answered me. I spent 3 weeks trying to get some information while my kid has stitches to his face. They don't care. So I'm not saying that this is happening every school, but I do feel that if some of the teachers get involved a little bit more, this may be maybe something different. I get it that it's a hard job, and I get it that it's one of those jobs that it requires a lot, and I appreciate what they do. I mean, it's an amazing job, and it's amazing sacrifice to our community. But I do feel sometimes that some of these kids that get abused, there's a little bit more there. That if somebody would have taken the time to do something, maybe something would have been different. Because I'm going to tell you, when a kid gets a firearms and does something horrific or gets it to that point, it's too late already. It's just too late. So let's see. Big man say, I get so frustrated as well watching and listening to this. Democrats trying to sell us the stuff that doesn't make a difference. Yeah, man. But it's good. It's good that we're having this conversation because we have to talk about it so people are informed. Some people don't have idea of what's going on. And that's why I continue to do this video. I debate to stop making YouTube so many times. But, I like to come here and bring a different point, So maybe one or two guys will be like, hey, that's awesome, man. I get it. And I'm going to go and cast my vote. And I'm going to try to make it different. And that's what we do. I'm trying to do, what I can for the Second Amendment. And I think that is important. Go out there and talk about the Second Amendment, and take that reputation that, that the media has given us. We're just a bunch of crazy guys with guns. No, we're not. We are, plumbers, bankers, truck drivers. We work at hospitals. We're just regular Americans, man. We pay taxes. We just happen to enjoy shooting, and we happen to enjoy, firearms, and we have a plan. Because if somebody comes into our house to attack our families, we just refuse to be victims. We may be the victim of a crime, but we ain't going down without a fight. And that's what many of you guys here in the comments, you guys feel like. We ain't going down without a crime. You're not going to come here and abuse my wife and children without me, doing something about it. And, we prepare with the right tools for the job because history has proven that we have to be prepared. It's not because we're crazy. It's not because we, think about doing something bad. It's simply because we ain't stupid. We could sit down here, we could turn this video on, and we could watch what's going on in Portland. We could watch what's going on in the United States. We could watch what the politicians are saying, how they're saying that it's okay. They're just mad. I just recorded a video. I haven't released it. This girl's, oh, it's okay to loot. It's okay to steal. People saying it's okay to burn down places, and politicians are not condoning that. Politicians are just like, oh, it is what it is. Cops are being held back that they cannot do anything about it. So, many Americans are like, no, man, I get it that you're upset. I get it that you feel that way. I get it that there may be some truth to your message in some kind of way. I get it. Maybe not, maybe it is. I get it that you're upset, and I get it that you are protesting, and we support the right to protest. What I don't get is why are you burning down my community, and you ain't gonna do that in my house. Nah, we ain't going that way. We're gonna disagree on that one. So let's see. Let's see who's out there watching. Throw punches. Tell live vision. Hey, by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my motorcycle channel, make sure you subscribe. There's gonna be a link down below. You can see me riding my Road King and having a great time. Let's see what Reese said. Reese said, God bless you and your family, Jar 6. Thinking about moving to Florida. Do you recommend your area? Yeah, man. The thing about, I live in Palm Coast. And Palm Coast is right next to Daytona. Now, I'll tell you, Daytona is not that good. There's a lot of stuff that happened in Daytona. I mean, it's not as good. I hate to be like, oh, one's good better than the other one because, I went to high school in New York and it wasn't that good. And I went to high school in Miami and it wasn't that good. So sometimes when people say some parts of Palm Coast is not that good, I'm like, man, I'm blessed to live here. This is a great city. But it's about, 20 minutes from Daytona. Between Daytona and St. Augustine, it's a really nice area. Really nice area. The market is good. You could buy a decent house and things like that. The problem here is that it's a very retirement community. So I don't know if you're old. I don't know if you're planning to retire or you're just a young guy or working guy. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find a decent job that pays decent money because the majority of the guys that live down here is the same story. I bought a house in New York 30 years ago. I sold it. I made, $500,000. I came down here. I bought a house cash. And now I live a retired life. Excuse me. That's kind of what you're going to get out of here. So I don't think the job market, you ain't going to get a job making a lot of money here in the city. But it's a good city. It's a good place to live. I love it. I'm close to the beach. St. Augustine is right there. It's an awesome place. There's places to go to Volusia, Daytona as well. But I love it. The only thing is hurricanes. Man, we get hurricanes all the time. But you get used to it. Buy a generator. If you come down here, buy a generator. All right, let's see. Who was out there? John said, Coast Guard officer fired warning shot in the air after confronting by two men. He was arrested without questioning, but it's okay to try to assault people. Yeah, man, send us a link if you got it. That's interesting. Yeah, it's just one of those things, it's kind of sad to say, man, but when it comes down to deadly force and things like that, many times it gets to the point that you probably have to get to that last moment. And I know it sucks because nobody wants to be a victim, but the law is pretty strict into that, and I usually tell people, meet deadly force with deadly force. And essentially what I mean is like when somebody's trying to kill you, it's usually when you could use deadly force. Now, in the case like this, two men, multiple suspects and things like that, he may have to get a lawyer. Who knows what that's going to go for? But you're right. It's okay to assault people, I guess. It's just insane. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing fantastic. Let's see who else. Oh, yeah, man. Armament Access says every time you cough, COVID. I know. Everybody does it, at work or something. If you go like, they'll be like, oh, COVID. Look at this COVID stuff, man. I'm sick of it. Really sick of it. All right. Let's see. Okay, I got about an hour and 10 minutes, guys. I got to record some videos, and it's like, I don't know what time it is, like 10:13. I gotta work tomorrow because I am not a famous YouTuber that makes money out of YouTube. I actually have a job, and I pay all my bills with my job. You know how YouTubers tell you, "Oh, give me money and this and that." Now, if you want to support the channel, you could become a patron. I do appreciate that. But if you don't, it's okay because I got a job and I pay all my bills with my regular job. So I appreciate everybody that is working, supporting the channel. You guys are fantastic. A bunch of guys here in the comments. I appreciate spending time with you guys. I'm trying to do this on Thursdays or Tuesday. I'm going to start bringing some people into the live stream now that I kind of being set up for live stream. I kind of took a break for almost a year. But now that I'm set up again, I'm going to bring some people so we can discuss some things, right? And let's see what throw. Oh man, you made me Thursday still field day, man. Woo! Don't get Star Sergeant go there and check your rune. Those were the days. Thursday field days. What else you do on field days? Let's see. I don't do that no more, but field days was always a fun time. Oh man. Anyways, it was Thursday when I left the Marine Corps. Appreciate you guys watching. You guys are fantastic. Stay tuned. We got a lot more videos coming up. And as always, God is in control.